Hey everybody, I kind of thought it would be cool with Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out to really talk about some pros and cons about it and see, kind of throw my opinion out there about how I feel like this game has done so far. I'm working my way through to Platinum it right now, but so far I've already beaten the campaign, story, whatever they call it. Uh, and to be honest, I was thoroughly surprised with the direction that the directors have taken, and I want to say I'm actually really excited for what they're going to do next. What could be coming down the pipeline with the way that they've decided to bring out the characters and the way that they've changed things. And there's a lot of speculation out there about what's really next. But to be honest, I think that they'll surprise us a little bit, and I'm excited to see what's coming. But let's get right down into it. Let's talk about some of the really cool stuff that they've brought to the table, and some of the stuff that, to be honest, probably needed some work. So let's get down to it. Overall, I think the game is wonderfully made, but to start off, we'll really talk about the bad thing that I didn't like. While the game itself looks beautiful, uh, they didn't do too well on some of the further backgrounds. These are some early screenshots from uh, one of the playthroughs that I did, and while the characters and the immediate area look great, the backdrop leaves a lot to be desired. They decided, I guess, to do a little bit smaller to make it the loading times better and to make the game run smoother. But it takes away a little bit of the aesthetic that is just so wondrous about everything else that's not good about the background. I mean, when you look at the lower plate, it's something that we've never got to do because of the limitations of the PS1, and it's really fun at first. But once you take it a second, it's not near as nice because it doesn't look as nice as the rest of the game. I mean, there's even a moment where you can see the one of the pillars that hold up the plate in comparison to the central pillar that the train runs around. And let's be honest, it doesn't look very good. But like I said, I wanted to start there because I wanted to get the bad out of the way. The game itself runs like a champ. When you get past the far away things not looking as good as you would hope they would, the game itself is beautiful. From the weapons to the way that the materia works and the way that the magic looks as it comes out, summon spirits, the way that your characters move and interact. It's wonderful. Even in the later, as you go through the game, in the later times of it, where the interaction between characters, while some of it is very building between their relationships, some of it's very comical. It makes you feel like they are living characters. And to be honest, that was something I was a little worried about going in, because we're talking about bringing a Final Fantasy VII where, yes, we had Dirge of Cerberus, yes, we had the Advent Children movie, but we hadn't seen Cloud and Barrett and the gang as fully voice acted characters in the game that we know and love. And I was pleasantly surprised that they did a very good job of not just making Cloud some moody teen, as he kind of feels at the first of Final Fantasy, but making his character even deeper. That yes, he is a little moody, but he's a caring character that kind of hides that he's kind of a softie. And in the same way, I was a little worried about Barrett because he's so over the top in the original game, and I can remember kind of laughing at Barrett because of how over the top he was. But I feel like they did a really good job of keeping that kind of aesthetic of Barrett's kind of over the top, but at the same time, he legit cares about what he's fighting for. He legit cares about the crew, the team, Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, Tifa, and even Cloud. Even towards the end of the game, you kind of see their relationship change from, all right, Merc, I'm sick of this, to, hey, Cloud, what are we going to do, kind of thing. Like, where he actually knows that he can depend on a Cloud, and he wants Cloud to depend on him. When it comes to being worried about characters, it was more I was worried of how they would interact with the world, even. As fans of Final Fantasy VII in particular, we had kind of already seen the world and what it held in store for us. So I was excited to see the new way that they would bring it about, and I think it's amazing how they've brought out a world but still made it interesting and new, with how these iconic areas are brought to life in a brand new light. but not just that, but even brought more depth to how big the Sector 7 slums really feels, how big the Shinra building actually feels. I think that they did an amazing job bringing forth life, or new life even, to an area that we had already seen before. Overall, I think the game is wonderful. I would recommend it to anybody that's a fan of an RPG, any Final Fantasy VII fan, any Final Fantasy fan. Just overall, the game is a great play. I think that if you enjoy action, it's got that. If you enjoy a great story, it's got that. If you enjoy colorful characters and scenery and background things going on, there's actually quite a bit going on in this game that the original couldn't do because of system limitations and disc limitations, and all that stuff has kind of went out the door for this remake. Now that, I mean, the physical copy comes with 2 discs. Like, it's massive for even today's standards in terms of what's there in terms of content, and also just of fun stuff to do. So I recommend it for anybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time.